Imagine this $500,000 is all you truly need to live a life of freedom, dignity, and financial security. Not a million, not 10 million, just 500,000. And yet most people will spend their entire lives chasing numbers far higher, ignoring the simple, rational strategies that make wealth attainable. The truth is, financial independence is not about magic or luck. It's about thinking clearly, avoiding destructive habits, and applying timeless principles consistently. Let's break down how 500,000 wisely used can give you the life most dream about but never reach. Money grows in a way that most people fail to appreciate because they think in terms of months or years, not decades. 500,000 might seem like a finite sum, but when applied correctly, it can be the seed of a snowball so large it carries you through life with ease. The principle at work is simple, yet almost universally ignored: compounding. It is the most powerful force in finance and perhaps in life itself. Every dollar you invest wisely earns a return, and next year it earns on top of the return it earned last year. This isn't theory, it is arithmetic. The key is to let it work without interruption, without panic, without the constant temptation to rearrange your holdings based on daily headlines or emotional impulses. Most people sabotage their own compounding because they think short-term swings matter more than they actually do. They sell when the market dips, buy when everyone else is exuberant, and miss the steady, quiet accumulation of wealth that occurs when time is allowed to do its work. Starting early is not optional, it is essential. Every year you delay is a year of compounding lost, and no amount of clever timing can fully make up for that. But even if you start late, the principle still applies. The longer your 500,000 is invested sensibly, the greater the growth, and the less you have to rely on luck or speculation. Compounding rewards patience and punishes impulsiveness. It also demands a clear understanding of risk and return. You cannot expect to compound reliably if your investments are reckless. The snowball melts if you take shortcuts. This is why diversification, consistency, and rational decision-making matter more than chasing flashy trends. Compounding is not magic, it is math applied over time, and it works only if you respect it. People who understand this principle make decisions that might seem boring. They avoid unnecessary transactions. They reinvest earnings. They stay the course even when fear and greed grip the crowd. Yet those are the very behaviors that transform 500,000 into a foundation that allows freedom, opportunity, and security. It is astonishing how often people overlook this simplicity, preferring to chase complexity and illusion rather than harnessing the quiet, unstoppable force of compounding. In the end, the secret to turning a modest sum into enduring wealth is not in timing, talent, or luck. It is in understanding the arithmetic of growth and letting it do its work while the world around you obsesses over noise. A 500,000 invested and compounded with discipline, patience, and rationality can become far more than anyone imagines, proving that understanding the fundamental principles of money is the true path to financial independence. One of the most common ways people sabotage their financial security is through debt. Debt is a subtle predator that can quietly erode your independence, turning what should be a tool for opportunity into a cage of obligations. High-interest credit cards, personal loans, and frivolous spending create liabilities that grow faster than assets if left unchecked. The reality is simple: a 500,000 is sufficient to secure freedom and stability, but only if you don't allow destructive debt to consume it. Many people assume they can borrow now, pay later, imagining that their future income will cover any excess. This is a dangerous illusion. Interest compounds against you just as returns compound in your favor, and often at a faster rate. One small misstep can snowball into years of struggle. Avoiding debt is not just about eliminating monthly payments, it is about preserving options and mental clarity. Every dollar you owe limits your ability to invest, to take advantage of opportunities, and to sleep soundly at night. Financial freedom is not measured merely by the size of your bank account, but by the absence of obligations that dictate your decisions. The smartest individuals think like this: Ace, pay yourself first, secure your capital, and then allocate what remains. Treat debt as a toxin to be avoided unless it is strategically used for growth, such as a mortgage on an asset that appreciates faster than the interest you pay. Beyond avoiding high-interest liabilities, it is critical to develop the habit of disciplined spending. Many people underestimate the cumulative effect of small, avoidable expenses. Daily indulgences, lifestyle inflation, and impulsive purchases silently drain resources that could be invested to generate real returns. 500,000, when combined with a debt-free mindset, becomes far more powerful than 10 times that amount encumbered by financial obligations. The lesson is clear. Wealth is less about how much you earn and more about how much you preserve and allocate wisely. Living below your means, paying off existing debts, and resisting the temptation to borrow for convenience or status transforms a moderate sum into a foundation that supports freedom, opportunity, and security. Avoiding debt is not deprivation, it is empowerment. It creates a space where 500,000 can grow, work for you, and provide options that most people with far greater incomes never experience. In essence, debt is the silent enemy of compounding, the thief of freedom, and the obstacle that separates those who achieve independence from those who chase it endlessly. By understanding this and applying rigorous discipline, the 500,000 you have becomes more than money. It becomes the key to living life on your terms without the invisible chains that debt imposes. Wealth is not a static number on a balance sheet. It is a skill cultivated through knowledge, observation, and rational thinking. Simply possessing 500,000 is meaningless if you do not understand how to make it work for you. The world is full of people who earn well but remain trapped because they fail to invest in themselves. Learning is the lever that transforms a moderate sum into lasting security and freedom. Knowledge compounds just as money does. Every book you read, every principle you understand, every lesson you observe from markets, human behavior, and history adds layers of advantage that few others possess. Ignorance, on the other hand, is costly. It leads to impulsive decisions, susceptibility to fads, and overreactions to the inevitable swings of fortune. A 500,000 is sufficient not because it is an arbitrary number, but because knowledge enables it to generate opportunities that multiply its value. The process begins with humility, recognizing the limits of your understanding. No matter how intelligent you are, the world is far more complex than any single individual can grasp. But by learning from those who have navigated similar challenges, by studying patterns that repeat over generations, and by observing both success and failure with an analytical eye, you gain an edge. The key is not information overload, but selective, disciplined acquisition of what truly matters. Focus on principles that are timeless, understanding risk and reward, the psychology of human behavior, and the forces that shape economies. Every decision you make regarding your 500,000 becomes smarter when guided by knowledge. Avoiding speculation, identifying sustainable investments, and recognizing opportunities before others do all stem from continuous learning. Complacency is expensive. The cost of failing to educate yourself is compounded by every poor decision made out of ignorance. Beyond technical knowledge, learning how to think clearly, rationally, and independently is the ultimate advantage. Most people react to circumstances emotionally, allowing fear, greed, or social pressure to dictate their actions. A mind trained in rational thought can see beyond the noise, evaluate opportunities logically, and make decisions that preserve and grow wealth. In essence, 500,000 is a tool, and knowledge is the force that wields it effectively. Without understanding, it is merely a number. With understanding, it becomes a fortress, a springboard, and a source of freedom. The lesson is unmistakable. Investing in your mind yields returns that money alone cannot buy, and it transforms a moderate sum into enduring independence, proving that wisdom and knowledge are the true engines behind financial success. The ability to live below your means is one of the most underappreciated yet powerful strategies for financial independence. Most people believe that wealth comes from earning more, from promotions, bonuses, or sudden windfalls. The reality is starkly different. The size of your income matters far less than how much you keep and how wisely you allocate it. 500,000 becomes transformative only when your lifestyle doesn't consume it faster than it can grow. Excessive spending, chasing status, or trying to keep up with others' appearances are fast roads to financial stress, regardless of how much you earn. True power lies in restraint, in making choices that prioritize long-term freedom over short-term gratification, by controlling your expenses, by resisting the temptation to inflate your lifestyle every time you earn more. You create a buffer that allows your capital to compound and work for you. Discipline in spending is not about deprivation, it is about empowerment. Every dollar you save, every expense avoided, can be redirected into investments that generate returns far exceeding what any short-lived pleasure could provide. Most people fail to realize that simple, consistent restraint beats occasional, aggressive efforts at earning. The 500,000 that seems modest to some can support a life of dignity and security if spent intelligently, because money allocated to consumption vanishes, while money allocated to investment grows silently and steadily. Living below your means also builds resilience. Life is unpredictable, expenses arise, emergencies occur, and opportunities emerge unexpectedly. When your lifestyle is modest, you have the flexibility to respond without jeopardizing your independence. You can take risks intelligently, seize opportunities, or weather crises without panicking. Conversely, those whose spending mirrors their ambitions are trapped. A single setback can derail their finances, forcing them to make reactive decisions that destroy potential gains. This is why habits matter more than luck. Consistency in living below your means creates compounding benefits that are invisible at first, but immense over time. Wealth is not about flashy purchases or appearances, it is about control, options, and freedom. By committing to simplicity, you not only preserve 500,000, but you allow it to grow, endure, and secure a life that most people with far greater incomes cannot achieve. In short, the discipline of modest living amplifies financial power, ensuring that your money works for you, rather than you working for money, and transforms a moderate sum into a fortress of freedom and opportunity. Life is unpredictable, and the most important lesson in managing wealth is preparing for the unforeseen. Markets crash, economies fluctuate, health crises emerge, and emergencies appear without warning. A 500,000 is enough to secure financial independence, not because it is inherently magical, but because it provides a foundation to structure your life with prudence and foresight. Preparing for the unpredictable means building a margin of safety in every aspect of your financial life. It means not over-leveraging your assets, not betting on speculative ventures, and not assuming that circumstances will always be favorable. It is about allocating your resources intelligently, some for growth, some for security, and some reserved for opportunity. Emergency funds are not optional. They are a form of insurance that allows you to act rationally rather than react emotionally. Similarly, diversification is not a mere technical detail. It is a safeguard against the unknown. By spreading investments across multiple assets, industries, and geographies, you reduce the likelihood that a single event can devastate your portfolio. The world is full of people who think their good fortune will last indefinitely, only to be blindsided by events they failed to anticipate. 500,000 invested without a margin of safety is fragile. Invested with caution, it is resilient. Insurance, conservative allocation, and contingency planning are not boring exercises. They are the backbone of enduring wealth. They allow you to sleep at night knowing that a single unexpected event cannot destroy your independence. Preparing for the unpredictable also means adopting a mindset that expects change and adapts to it. Opportunities often arise from crisis, but only if you are positioned to take advantage. When others are panicking, those with foresight can act decisively, buying value when it is cheap and reallocating resources when necessary. This requires discipline, rationality, and a deep understanding of risk. Most people underestimate the power of preparation because it is invisible. The benefits are only realized when adversity strikes. Yet, it is this very preparation that separates those who retain and grow their wealth from those who lose it. In essence, a 500,000 is a powerful tool because it allows you to plan, buffer, and act strategically in a world full of uncertainty. The lesson is clear. Financial independence is not about predicting the future, but about preparing intelligently for its inevitability. By anticipating the unexpected and structuring your resources to withstand shocks, you transform a moderate sum into a fortress of security, flexibility, and opportunity, proving that prudence and preparation are the true engines of lasting wealth. At the heart of financial independence lies a simple truth. Money is a tool, not an end in itself. A 500,000 is not valuable because of the number on a statement, but because of the freedom it creates. The freedom to live life on your own terms, to pursue meaningful work, to spend time with the people who matter, and to make choices unencumbered by financial pressure. Most people chase wealth for the wrong reasons: status, appearances, or fleeting pleasures. They overlook the deeper purpose of money, which is to buy control over your life. True independence comes from aligning resources with values, from using money to create options rather than obligations. 500,000, when deployed wisely, provides that control. It allows you to think clearly rather than react to crises, to take calculated risks rather than gamble out of necessity, and to focus on long-term goals rather than short-term distractions. The power of this sum is amplified by rational decision making and patience. When you prioritize what truly matters, security, growth, and opportunity, over superficial desires, 500,000 becomes far more than a number. It becomes a platform for a life of dignity and purpose. Many people fail to appreciate this because they equate wealth with consumption. They inflate their lifestyles, seeking validation through possessions, while missing the quiet, profound freedom that financial independence offers. Living with clarity and purpose turns modest capital into a fortress that supports meaningful choices. It is not about deprivation. It is about alignment. The money itself is inert. It gains power only when guided by rational thought, disciplined habits, and a long-term perspective. Freedom, opportunity, and resilience are the real returns on investment. By focusing on principles rather than transient trends, by understanding the arithmetic of growth and the psychology of spending, you ensure that 500,000 is sufficient to secure not just survival, but a life rich in options and fulfillment. At its core, financial independence is about control over your own destiny. 500,000 provides that control when combined with thoughtful planning, discipline, and an understanding of what matters most. It allows you to reject the illusions of wealth as status and instead embrace the reality of wealth as freedom. In the end, the number is less important than the strategy, mindset, and choices that surround it. By concentrating on these, a 500,000 is not only enough, it is liberating, enabling a life where decisions are guided by reason and purpose rather than necessity or fear. It is the key to living deliberately, wisely, and fully, proving that money's ultimate value lies in the freedom it affords, not the comfort it temporarily buys.